Alright, there's a problem we have to deal with first, or another issue, and that is we need to get this old washer off of here, and this one off too. Sometimes you can reuse these, sometimes you can't. So we went and got some new ones, and I'll show you what the washers look like and where to get them. And if you're smart, you order these parts in advance. If not, then you may have to buy extra parts just to get to the washers. You may even have to buy like an extra brake line if you can't get one. How much was a brake line?
30 bucks.
It's like 30 bucks for a brake line for a 50-cent washer. So order this stuff in advance. Alright, so to get this off, we're just going to use a couple screwdrivers and pry it up so that we can get it off. You'll need something to hold that on. A good pair of vice grips is a good idea, because it'll hold it and hang it and keep it from moving around. A word of caution real quick that I didn't mention earlier, and that is, this is brake fluid, and brake fluid does not like paint. You get this brake fluid on your paint and it will eat your paint. So don't put brake fluid on your hands and then reach up here and grab your car and all that kind of stuff. If you do, get some soap and water and wipe it off immediately. And I don't mean just wipe it off with a rag and call it good. So, because we don't want our paint getting issued or having issues, and neither do you. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to push this up, and I'm going to get a couple screwdrivers and get this out. Screwdrivers in there and get this off. If it was a little higher, I could just use some little side cutters to break it. All right, I was able to get my little side cutters in here and snip it. It was a piece of cake. It just cut right through it. When you use a pair of side cutters on something like this, make sure that you take it and you rotate it like this a little bit so you don't break your side cutters. There we go. And snip it in a couple spots, and you should be able to get it off just like that. Ding, ding. Try not to get anything in here. We're going to go ahead and clean this out anyways, and then we're going to put a new seal on it. Alright, we got the washer off. Now if you're real careful, you can set this up in here like this. Now what I mean by real careful is you don't want to get dirt in that hole. If you're not really sure, then go ahead and put a plastic bag over it and set it up there and zip tie it. Alright, now that we've got our brake caliper clean and rebuilt down there, we got our brake line off. Now we need to address these rotors here. Now at this point normally we would just change the rotors, but like I said, we need this car like tomorrow, so we don't have time to go through all the rotors and stuff. We do have new brake pads. We'll probably change those later as well, but the rotors are definitely worn. There's a huge lip right here, and then there's a small lip right here. He's not doing any heavy driving, so they're going to be good enough till we get this probably in probably about another month. Then we'll go ahead and change these rotors out. So anyways, but before you do that, see all this brake fluid and stuff that got all over that? You can't put your new brake shoes on that, so you have to clean it off. So get you a can of brake cleaner, and it doesn't have to be by CRC, it can be anything. You have a couple types, non-chlorinated and some others. I don't know what the difference is. To me, they both work fine, so I just use whatever's available and whatever's the cheapest. Make sure you clean all this up in here real well. You can't spray it upside down too long. Don't get any of this on your paint either. This will eat your paint too, so be careful. And it comes out really fast. See that? You don't want to. I'm just barely pushing the knob right here and just making sure everything's cleaned up real good. All right, when you get done with that, then you're going to take this and you're going to clean the back side of it as well. Now the difference is the back side has a shield on it. See this shield right here? This shield will prevent you from cleaning all of it, and the only place you can clean it is where the brake pads actually touch. So what you have to do is you have to squirt this off here, and you have to rotate the rotor and spray it some more. Now, if I had two hands, I would just turn it while I'm doing this. Hey son, yeah, come over here and rotate the brake rotor clockwise. Clockwise? Yeah. Alright, that's probably good enough. Alright, now that we've done the rough clean, now we're going to go ahead and use paper towels. Alright, and get some get some paper towels, put the brake cleaner on it, and have somebody turn it for you if you're holding the camera. There you go. Alright, that's good enough. Pretty dirty, huh? Nasty. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to unfold it. Or I'm sorry, not unfold it. Now we're going to use the other side. We're going to spray this side and then use it. Here you go. Alright. And we're going to set it on there. And we're going to do the same thing again. Now the goal is actually to have it come off pretty clean. Since we're going to change these rotors out, it's probably not going to matter that much. Let's see if we can do some more. Alright, let's see. So it's mostly dirty on the outside here. Alright, let's spray this again. See, I like to fold it up like this so I can unfold it instead of just put it in like a big old ball. There you go. Alright, and if you're afraid of chemicals and stuff, probably wear some gloves or something, some neoprene chemical resistant gloves. If you do this every day as a living, I highly recommend that. I think California says that's cancerous. Of course, they say water's cancerous too. So, alright, that's probably good enough for what we're going to be doing, since we're going to replace these anyways. So let's go ahead and get the backside done. I don't think you really need to see us do that. We're just going to do this like that until it's done. So let's pause this here, get it done, and then we'll show you what happens next. Alright, now we're just going to put the brake shoes or pads on. I'm sorry. Stick them in there. And there's a little slot in the back too. I don't know if you can see it in the video. I don't know if you can see that. Reef, and it's in focus. Alright, now once we get those in, notice we've got this all cleaned up. We don't need that in there anymore. That was just holding it for me. We got these cleaned up as good as they're going to get until we do another complete brake job. Our main concern was to unfreeze the calipers and rebuild the calipers today. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and this little nipple on top right here, that little nipple with the black cap on it, that is your bleeder valve. So we're going to make sure that that's on top. Then this goes on here like this, and then we put these bolts in here. The other way, clockwise. And we'll get the bottom one in here soon. See that one? There you go. Bottom one's a little hard to get to because you can't really see it. You can do it by feel though. It goes right there. Alright, now when you got your rotor on, or your caliper on, and everything's assembled, because you haven't compressed it yet and bled the brake line, this should easily and freely move back and forth, these little pivot pins. If they don't, replace these or fix them or lubricate them, or make sure these rubber boots are in good shape. Otherwise you'll get water in there and they'll roast up and then, or freeze up, and then they'll toast your brakes and your rotors, and then you'll be stranded on the side of the road. Alright, so we got those just finger tight. Now let's go ahead and tighten them down all the way. And that's an 18 millimeter and a 13 millimeter. Now some of the replacements have a 17 here, so, but ours is a 13. I think this is an original.
Stock, yeah.
Stock, yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to it. 18 box or open end wrench. There we go. And we're gonna need, well, let's go this way. Sorry about that. There we go. And then we're gonna take this and tighten it up. Actually, I was going the right way with it, so my son's gonna hold it. Now there's an actual torque of this. It's what, 45 pounds?
46.
46 pounds. and that's just a good reef. That's all that is. So that's good enough right there. If you want to do the 46, that's fine. I don't really find them that critical. The ones that are actually critical are the ones that mount this plate on right here.
96.
And these are 96
For this year.
96 pounds, foot-pounds. So this is 46 foot-pounds. I don't know what it is in metric. Sorry, guys. You can look it up. There's converter apps for your phones. Here, let me grab that wrench down there. All right. Now this one is going to get the wrench on the bottom there. As soon as I find the nut. See if we can't focus. There it is. Okay, that's good. Those are just more than snug. That's about 45, 46 foot-pounds. It's within tolerance. And we're going to take these off and replace these in the pads anyways later. All right. So the next thing we got to do is you got to put the brake line on, which is up here. Remember I said don't get any dirt in it, so be gentle with it. Try not to knock any dirt in it. There we go. And we're going to inspect it. Make sure there's nothing there. If there is, go ahead and have somebody step on the brake pedal and it'll force a little bit of fluid out here, but there isn't. So let me set it up and I'll show it to you. Here, just put that banjo bolt in there. Put the banjo bolt in there like that. Make sure that you have a seal on the bottom. Is that in right? Yeah, let me zoom in here. Make sure you got a seal, copper seal on the bottom here next to my pinky right here. And then you're going to put the other seal over that. And we'll show you where to get these seals. Then you're going to take this. Remember that area I told you they needed to stay clean down here? Where is it? Right here. Remember that area I said you need to keep it clean? That's that area right there. That's where that banjo bolt and that little copper seal is going to be. So let's get this in here. These are kind of a booger to do, so give me a few seconds here. All right, I got it in there. Now I like to use my little DeWalt ratchet wrench for this. I use these for getting the majority of the work done, and then I use a regular wrench to finish it off. Now as this screws in here, you're going to see that little square area right here needs to go inside this square area. Alright, I had my son go ahead and turn the wheel to make it easier to see what I'm talking about. This little thing right here, you'll have to manipulate it so it's in this area. And the reason for this notch is so that when you go to tighten this up, it won't turn. It won't rotate on you. It'll stay solid. Because if you're going down the road and you're moving the wheel in and out like this, this could theoretically flex a little bit, and then it would start to loosen up and you'd lose brake fluid and then lose your brakes. So they put this little notch in here as an extra lock. So let's go ahead and get this tightened up. Alright, now this right here, once I get to this point, I stop using this wrench so I don't break this little keeper in here, this little ratchet area. And then I go to a regular wrench, which is a regular box, and there is a spec on this. I don't remember what it is either. I usually just reef on it pretty good. I think it's about 30 foot-pounds, something like that. And then we're going to come up here, we're going to remove this. Now we're to the point where we're actually going to bleed, and it's called bleed, the caliper. And what the bleeding in the caliper does is it allows all the air that's in here when we rebuilt this, it forces fluid down here, and it forces it up, and then that fluid comes up here and goes out the hole. That's why this piece right here has to be on top, because if the brake line was on top, you'd be trying to force fluid down here and air out here, while air bubbles want to go up and the fluid's wanting to go down. So if you make the fluid on the bottom and then have the bleeder on top, then you're forcing all the air out the top, because the bubbles in the air want to go that way anyways. Well guys, that's pretty much it for part 4. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and actually bleed the brakes, which is the start of or the end of this video. And I'll back the next video up just a little bit so you get the full coverage on that too. So I want to thank you for watching. If the video helped you or you learned something, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you really want to help the channel, please subscribe. So with that being said, I want to say God bless you all and keep 90 out. Bye.